today we are going to discuss some questions of that chapter. After that, if time is left, today I will tell you something to start with the practical file. Okay, so how to start, which practical you are going to write, first that I will tell you. So some portion of the writing work at least you will keep complete in the practical file. So whenever we get chance, the school opens, we can start with the some basic practicals, because basic 2 practicals, titration and salt analysis, you will be needing in 12th also, and it's better to learn them in 11th only. So let us see when we get chance, but at least writing work we can keep complete. Okay, so let us start with question number, those selected questions we will do. Question number 4th of your back exercise. Calculate the amount of carbon dioxide that could be produced when. Question number 1. 1 mole of carbon is burnt in air. So we have to calculate the amount of CO2 produced when carbon is burnt. So first we will write the reaction required for that. When carbon is burnt, that means C when reacts with O2 gives CO2. Okay. Is the reaction balanced? Yes, it is already balanced. So we'll start with it. 1 mole atom it is of carbon. This is 1 mole molecule of oxygen, and this is 1 mole molecule of CO2. So when 1 mole carbon reacts with 1 mole oxygen, it gives 1 mole of CO2. This is according to the balanced chemical equation. Now the next thing is calculate the amount of CO2 produced, that we have to calculate. Okay, when 1 mole of carbon is burnt in air, it is very simple. When 1 mole of carbon is burnt in air, the amount of CO2 produced is also 1 mole. So amount we will calculate in grams. So if it is 1 mole produced, then it will be carbon 12 plus 32, that is equal to 44 grams. So 1 mole carbon will produce 44 grams of carbon dioxide. Okay. Then second is 1 mole of carbon is burnt in 16 gram of dioxygen. The second case is when 1 mole of carbon is burnt in 16 grams of dioxygen, that is O2. Then we have to calculate the amount of carbon dioxide produced. Okay. So in this case what will happen? So 1 mole of carbon in 16 grams of dioxygen. So what will happen? Again in this case we have to think that 1 mole means carbon is 12 grams. Okay. Then 1 mole oxygen molecule is actually 16 into 2, that is 32 grams. So according to the balanced chemical equation, if we see in terms of mass, 12 grams is reacting with 32 grams to give 44 grams of carbon dioxide. So 1 mole of carbon and 16 grams of O2. That means what? 1 mole is reacting with 32 grams according to balanced chemical equation. Okay. Then in this case only we have to see with 16 gram of oxygen. That means what? It is acting as limiting reagent, because balanced chemical equation requires 32 grams, available only is 16 grams. So product will be formed according to the limiting reagent, because 1 mole of C is useless. It is 12 grams available, but still it will react only with 16 grams only. So when 32 grams of oxygen gives 44 grams, 32 grams is giving 44 grams of CO2. So 16 grams will give 22 grams of CO2, half of it. So it will be 22 grams of CO2, or you can say half mole of CO2 will be produced when 16 grams of oxygen is used. No matter we have 1 mole of carbon. Product is always according to the limiting reagent. Okay. Next condition. Third, 2 moles of carbon are burnt in 16 grams of dioxygen. Again same thing. 6 plus C plus O2 gives CO2 1, 1 and 1. 1 mole of each is react. 2 are reacting to give 1 mole of product. Now they are saying that 2 moles of this are reacting with 16 grams of O2. Then again the same thing. Maybe it is 2 moles but oxygen available is just 16 grams. So oxygen is acting here as limiting reagent, because actually for 1 mole we require oxygen 32 grams. And in this condition, in this case, what they are showing, 2 moles of carbon are reacting with 16 grams. So no matter this is available 2 moles, 3 mole, 4 mole, 5 mole. If it is available only 16 grams, then product will be formed according to the limiting reagent always. So again, for 16 grams, we will be getting 22 grams of CO2. Okay. So these are the 3. So always remember, first you will write balanced chemical equation, then you will see how many moles of each are reacting, then their masses you will write, and then according to that you will check whether any of the component is limiting reagent or not, and then only you will be writing the products according to that. Okay. Now the next question. Question 1.5. Calculate the mass of sodium acetate. Okay. Calculate mass of sodium acetate. So it is CH3COONA. Acetic acid is CH3COOH. So this is sodium acetate. Calculate the mass of sodium acetate. What happened?
ऊपर का कोड विजिबल नहीं है.
Visible नहीं है. Okay. Now is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Calculate mass of sodium acetate required to make 500 ml. Required to make 500 ml of 0.375 molar aqueous solution. Okay. Molar mass of sodium acetate is given 82.02. So molar mass of sodium acetate CH3COONA is given 82.02 grams. 82.02 grams. Okay. Now calculate mass of sodium acetate required to make 500 ml of 0.375 molar aqueous solution. That means molarity is given. Molar solution means molarity is given. So first of all, we will write the formula for molarity, because we now conclude that the question is actually related to the molarity. So molarity is equal to WB upon MB into 1000 upon volume in ml. Okay. Now what they are asking, calculate mass of sodium acetate. So mass of sodium acetate, that means we require WB. Molarity is already given 0.375. WB, that is mass of sodium acetate, we want to know. Molar mass MB is already given 82.02. Conversion factor 1000. Volume in ml is 500 ml. Okay. Only thing that we want to calculate is WB is equal to 0.375 into 82.02 into 500 upon 1000. Okay, so the weight, or you can say mass of sodium acetate will come near about 15 point something in grams. So only putting the values. See, when we solve the question, it appears very simple that we are just putting the values and answer is coming. But the important thing is you have to identify the formula which you are going to use. That this formula is required and what is the quantity actually which you have to calculate in the question. After that, putting values and finding answer is not that difficult. Okay, so it will be the solution of complete question. Now we come to the next question, question 1.6. And in this chapter, because now many of the things have been deleted, so the portion which is left has mainly numerical base questions are possible from this chapter, whatever portion is left. So that is why practicing of questions is necessary. Next question 1.6. Calculate the concentration of nitric acid. Calculate the concentration of nitric acid, that is HNO3, in moles per liter. In moles per liter in a sample which has density 1.41 grams per ml. Okay, in a sample whose density is 1.41 grams per ml and the mass percent of nitric acid and the mass percent of HNO3 being 69%. Okay. Now calculate the concentration of nitric acid in moles per liter. First thing what we have to calculate, this we have to identify. So concentration of HNO3 in moles per liter. We have many ways of expressing concentration, but they are asking the concentration of nitric acid in moles per liter. That means they are talking about molarity. That means we have to find molarity and what are the quantities which are given, that we have to see. In a sample whose density is 1.41 grams per ml. In a sample means they are talking about complete solution. Okay. So density of solution, let me write density. Density of solution is 1.41 grams per ml. Okay, density of solution is given. Now what next thing is given? Mass percentage of HNO3 being 69%. Now mass percent, if you remember, it is one of the way of expressing concentration. So mass percent is weight by weight. That means 69% means what? 69 grams of HNO3 is present in 100 gram of solution. This is mass percentage. Okay, total 100 gram of solution. So this is mass percentage. That means we have obtained the mass of nitric acid, we have obtained the mass of solution. These quantities we have obtained. Now we come to the formula. Molarity is equal to weight in grams upon molar mass multiplied by conversion factor 1000, volume in ml. Okay. Now what things are available to us that we have to see? Molarity we have to find. WB, that is the mass in grams of nitric acid, is 69. It is given. Okay. Molecular mass of nitric acid is not given. So that we can calculate from the formula. So HNO3, that is equal to 1, nitrogen is 14 and O3, that is equal to 48. That will be 63 grams. Okay. So 63 grams is the molecular mass of nitric acid. This we have calculated. Mass in grams, we just saw it here, into 1000 upon volume in ml. Now volume of solution we don't have. Whenever you will always see that whenever in questions volume of solution directly is not given, indirectly density is given, with the help of which you can calculate the volume. Now mass of the solution, we know that it is 100 gram because mass percentage was given. Okay, so 100 gram of solution density is mass per unit volume, and we want to calculate volume. So V will be equal to M by D, that is equal to mass is 100 for solution and density is 1.41. Okay, so this nearly comes to 70.92. Volume of the solution comes to 70.92 ml, because density was 1.41 grams per ml, hence this volume will also come in ml. So we'll put it here 70.92. This will help us to calculate molarity again, which will come nearly 15.44 moles per liter. Okay, so this is the complete procedure. So every times you will be either calculating molarity or molality, but to obtain the quantities required for calculation, you will have to do in different manner. For example, in the previous one directly they were given. In this question they were giving you mass percentage and then you have to calculate through it. Okay, so this is one of the way. Okay, then next question. This is little different, not based on molarity. How much copper can be obtained from 100 gram of copper sulfate? How much copper can be obtained from 100 gram of CuSO4, copper sulfate? Okay, now to do such questions, how much copper can be obtained from 100 gram of copper sulfate? First of all, we should know that in copper sulfate, what is actually the molecular mass of copper molecular mass of copper sulfate, and how much is the atomic mass of copper in that particular 1 mole of copper sulfate. So first we will see that. So for copper sulfate SO4, copper is 63.5. Okay, so 63.5 is the atomic mass of copper, sulfur is 32 and oxygen 16 into 4, 64. Okay, so that will come total 159.5. Okay, so this is in grams, this is in grams. So when 159.5 grams of copper sulfate is there, copper present is 63.5 grams, or you can say from 159.5 grams copper sulfate we can obtain 63.5 grams of copper. So from 100 grams of copper sulfate we can obtain 63.5 upon 159.5 into 100. Okay, that comes nearly 39 point, answer is 39.8. 39.8 grams. Okay, so maybe instead of 100 they can ask for any quantity, but the process for any substance will go the same. That first you have to calculate the molecular mass, and in that particular molecular mass what actually is the mass of that substance which they are asking for, and then do the rest calculation. Okay. Now we come to next question. In 3 moles of ethane, ethane is C2H6, 1, 2, H. This is ethane. Okay. So the question is, in 3 moles of ethane, calculate. In 3 moles of ethane, calculate. What we have to calculate? Number of moles of carbon atoms. First thing is number of moles of carbon atom. Simple question, it is directly visible that they are asking in 3 moles of ethane. So 1 mole of ethane is this, C2H6 is 1 mole actually. So in 1 mole of ethane, we can see there are 2 carbon atom moles. These are moles actually. So 2 carbon, C2 is written, that means it is 2 carbon atom moles. And we know that in each carbon atom, if we want to talk about number of atoms present, then it will be equal to Avogadro number. Okay, so we are not talking about number. You have to specifically see the question whether they are asking for number of atoms, number of molecules, or they are asking for moles. So the question is saying that number of moles of carbon atom in 1 mole of ethane is 2 carbon atoms moles. Then in 3, that definitely it will be 6. So in 3 moles of ethane, the number of carbon atom moles will be 6. Second thing is number of moles of hydrogen atoms. If you see the formula, in 1 mole of ethane, we have 6 hydrogen mole atoms. These are atoms, but actually these are moles. Okay, so 6 hydrogen mole atoms are present. So in 3 moles, definitely it will be 6 into 3, that is 18 moles of hydrogen atom will be present. 18 moles of H atom. Okay. Third part is number of molecules of ethane. They are asking, the third thing which they are asking is number of molecules. Now they are not asking about moles. They are asking number of molecules of ethane in 3 moles of ethane. Okay. Number of molecules of ethane in 3 moles of ethane. So, we know that in 1 mole of any substance, the number is Na, that is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 number of molecules in 1 mole of any substance. So, here 1 mole of ethane we are talking about. So, 1 mole has these many numbers. So they are asking for 3 moles. So it will be 3 multiplied by 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. So that will be 18 into 10 to the power 23. Okay. So these are the questions which can be based on mole concept. Okay, now the next question. Again, this is based on one different question. Let me take, because almost all questions are like that only, finding out molarity. Now one more question we have to see. that is question number 36 of the book. Chlorine is prepared in the laboratory by treating manganese dioxide MnO2 with aqueous hydrochloric acid according to the reaction. So I am writing reaction. Whatever is in the reaction was read by me in the language form. Okay. So 4HCl plus MnO2 gives 2H2O plus this is aqueous, this is solid, this is liquid plus MnCl2 that is aqueous plus Cl2 gas. This is the complete equation. I am again reading. Chlorine is prepared in the laboratory. This chlorine is prepared in the laboratory by treating manganese dioxide with aqueous HCl according to the reaction. Okay. So the reaction is saying that we are preparing chlorine with the help of these two components, aqueous hydrochloric acid and manganese dioxide. How many grams of HCl react with 5 grams of manganese dioxide? Now the part which we have to do is how many grams of HCl react with 5 grams of MnO2. Okay. Now again, how many grams of HCl will react with 5 grams of MnO2 to produce how much chlorine, to produce what? This they are not asking. So we are concerned about the masses of only HCl and MnO2. They have not asked about the effect of the amount of these substances present on the product. So we don't require the mass of product. How many grams of HCl will react with 5 grams of MnO2? So first we should know according to balanced chemical equation how many grams of HCl it reacting with how many grams of MnO2. Then we can tell about the 5 grams of MnO2. Okay. So for 4 HCl 35.5 is the mass of chlorine plus 1 hydrogen, that is equal to 4 into 36.5. 4 molecules are there, so 4 into 36.5, that is 146 grams. Okay. Then MnO2. Manganese is 55, oxygen is 32, so it is 87 grams. Okay. Now according to balanced chemical equation we know that 146 grams of HCl reacts with 87 grams of MnO2. Now your question is simple. You don't need to write the masses of these because they are not needed in solving the question. Now 5 grams of MnO2 requires how many grams of HCl? So 87 grams of MnO2 requires 146 grams of HCl according to balance equation. So 5 grams of MnO2 will require 146 upon 87 multiplied by 5. Clear? So that will give the value 8.4. 8.4 grams. This is giving the answer 8.4 grams. Clear? So practicing questions of this chapter is very important. Last question we will take. Then tomorrow we will talk about your practical files. Let me finish one more question, then I will tell you. Identify the limiting reagent, if any, in the following reaction mixture. Question is simple, but still we make mistakes when we do. A plus B2, question number 23 of your book 1.23. A plus B2 gives AB2. This is a equation given. Okay. According to this, they are saying identify limiting reagent in the following reaction. If 300 atoms of A react with 200 molecules of B. Now see, in your book it is written like this: 300 atoms of A react with 200 molecules of B. So it may be confusing to some of you that actually they are talking about 200 molecules of B, and here it is written B2. So actually they are saying molecule word, that means they are talking about B2. So if it confuses you, you can write here B2 also in place of B. Is it clear what I am saying? That here B is written, so don't be confused that you have to double the number, because already they have mentioned the term molecules of B, and molecule doesn't means B. B2 is actually molecule. Okay, so whether you write B2 or you consider B as B2, because molecule word is written. So seeing to this, you can suggest that which is limiting reagent simply. 300 atoms of A and 200 molecules of B. According to balanced chemical equation, 1 mole atom of A are reacting with 1 mole molecule of B. 1 mole molecule of B. That is why when 300 are here and 200 are here, definitely B2 will act as limiting reagent, because for 300 we require 300 here also, because they are reacting in 1:1 ratio. So this is limiting reagent. Clear? Second, 2.5 moles of A when react with 5 moles of B or B2, you write. Don't get confused. It is about molecule. So 2.5 moles of A with 5 moles of B2. That means in this case A is limiting reagent. Okay. So limiting reagent questions are generally very simple to do. Okay. If there is a question, how are 0.50 mole of Na2CO3 0.50 mole Na2CO3 and 0.50 m Na2CO3, okay, are different. So are these two terms different? Yes, these two terms are different. This is 0.50 molar, molal, and this is 0.50 molar. Capital M stands for molar, small m stands for molal. And these two terms, if I say 0.50 molal Na2CO3 and 0.50 molar Na2CO3, they two are different solutions. Why? Why they are different? Because in this case 0.50 moles of Na2CO3 are dissolved in 1 liter of solution. That means the complete volume of the solution is 1 liter after dissolving 0.50 moles of sodium carbonate. In this case, when I am writing 0.50 molar Na2CO3, that means what is the meaning of it? 0.50 moles of Na2CO3 are dissolved in 1000 grams of solvent. Mass of solvent is taken into account, not the volume of solution. Okay. So these two terms will stand different. Clear?